Hey, folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's intraday analysis video brought to you by the creators of proprietary price, pattern, and time methodology. Learn the PPT strategies and profit for life. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. All right, guys, into the analysis we go on this Wednesday, July 24th, 2013. Markets are down on the day. Not down big, but down nonetheless. And again, it's actually a pretty sizable fall from the highs of the day where we opened. And in terms of technical awareness here, folks, this is very, very important. All right, yesterday we had a little bit of a minor cycle date, and that could be seen by various calculations that members here at In the Money Stocks know about that I've explained to them and my partner has explained to them. But in any case, the markets gapped up yesterday and fell down, creating a beautiful in spirit of bearish pattern. I talked about this in yesterday's video, and then we saw the selling into the close. Today we gapped up. Notice where the gap up took us, to the exact pivot top and this upsloping trend line, which again just connect all the lows here, and that's exactly what we saw. We saw a retrace right into that little pivot point, and from that point on we saw the market just collapsing down again. Now the market opened up today because Apple earnings, they were not as bad as people expected, so we saw Apple up on the day. Apple's still up $24. Baidu's having a very nice surge up today prior to its earnings announcement later today. And all these factors, again, guys, continuing to enlighten the market and initially give people the idea that, hey, listen, the Fed's out there to save us. Earnings on Apple were not that bad. Various other possibilities. But it doesn't matter because when the cycle hits, and we saw a nice down move. And this will be the second down day in a row on the S&P if it does conclude that way, which it does appear as of now with about 1 hour left to be. So all of these factors here, guys, you have to continue to think that this is setting up for a pretty significant kind of, I don't know, you could call it a significant setup in terms of where this market wants to end up and ultimately coming down off of these high levels for now at least. And again, we'll have to continue to kind of watch and see if that's the nature of the beast, but it does appear that way. It definitely does appear that way, and when all is said and done, it looks to me like this market again could have, or at least is attempting to put in a short-term top in the market. Now, again, the light volume is still there. We've only done 82 million today, which is not heavy. It's heavier than yesterday, but it's not heavy volume. But again, when all is said and done, this market does seem like it wants to pull back. And you can see that again by the daily chart too. I mean, we just barely got above the previous all-time high here, and look at the market already coming back down. And if we close right below this level, you got to think that the market again is definitely putting in the possibilities of a little bit of a short-term top, as I just mentioned before. All right, so that's what we have going on here. The markets again are showing their weakness. Again, this is in the face of a lot of people thinking the markets were going to be up nicely today on the back of Apple earnings. It usually works out that way when the market thinks something's going to happen. It's usually the opposite. And we saw the warning signs just a couple days ago with the market inability to kind of continue up. And you could see this on the intraday again on the spiders. Look at the gap up yesterday and drop, and then today the gap up and drop. The market can't hold gains. And you have to say, listen, who cares about what my beliefs in the overall market are, or where I think this market is going, or where my gut is telling me where this market is going? What are the charts telling me? And right now the charts are very, very simple and clear, and just continuing to kind of speak forth, essentially, and, tell us that the markets are a little tired right here. And again, remember, the Fed is giving the FOMC statement next week, folks. So you will have the Federal Reserve FOMC statement next week, and that does tell us that there is a chance that the Fed could pull the trigger on a little bit of the QE. I mean, we could see that actually. Okay, so just an interesting little tidbit there. Let me just go to a couple charts. Apple number one, guys. I called the Apple up move, folks. I told this to you guys for days and days and days. We were staying above the 420 pivot right here, and I said as long as you're staying above this 420 pivot, look for the market to exactly that, to have a possibility of a move up. And you pulled back yesterday into that level, and then bam, to the upside you went. And I love stuff like that where it just shows perfectly how the market's able to, derive and get its levels and continue to just rock it as the charts continue to show us they can. Okay, just an absolutely great example on Apple. And again, my bias for Apple on earnings was a positive, and sure enough, it couldn't have been any better there. It really couldn't have been. Okay, all right, let's see what else we have here, guys. Just going over a couple other charts. Let's see what else here. Just trying to scan through and see again what we're seeing. All right, let's go here. Let's go to Amazon. Amazon reports earnings after the bell tomorrow. I'll talk about what stocks are reporting earnings today, but Amazon reports earnings tomorrow. It is coming in, so initially when it was trading up here, I was thinking if it pushes higher into earnings, it would be a fall play, but now it's pulling back, so it's a much more of a 50-50 type scenario, guys. Much, much more of a 50-50. By the way, Baidu reports earnings today, and this stock is actually having a pretty impressive spike up. I've scalped it a little bit today just on the ups and downs here as it's surging up, but nonetheless, a very, very nice little push up right in this range. This is rising pretty dramatically into earnings, and what I like about this is you actually have a good resistance area right here, guys. Good resistance area on Baidu right around the 114 level. So right around the 114 level, what I'm thinking is if it gets to about 114 today, there's a pretty solid chance that it could sell off on earnings. So we'll know more after the bell, but right now it's getting a great move up. Question is, will it continue to hold that and continue to add to that on earnings after the bell? All right. Let me see what else we have here. I'm just kind of scanning through. Today, Facebook reports. That's another big report due to come out. FB, and this is actually an in spirit of bearish pattern right now. So you have an in spirit of bearish pattern on the chart of Facebook going into earnings. However, many people would look at that and say, "Oh, that's bearish." Not so fast because you have all three moving averages below. So honestly, just in biases, Apple was an easy call for me because the charts told me. Both Facebook and Amazon are more of a neutral. Maybe on tomorrow on Amazon I can make a little bit of a better projection. Right now I can't, and again, Amazon tomorrow maybe, but in terms of Baidu's more of a short to me as a possibility of a pullback. The more gains here, especially if it hits that 114. Right now it hit 113.88. I'd really like to see it pierce 114. If it does that, then I do think you have a potential to see some pretty good action to the downside on Baidu on earnings. So we'll see again. Nailed Apple. We'll see if it comes through on this one. Let me see what else we have here. FFIV reports earnings today. This stock has a nice bullish pattern, too far away from the moving averages, but it does favor the upside just slightly. In regards to the way it's trading today off of VMware, which had earnings, VMware having a huge day today. These stocks usually trade together for some reason. I've always looked at them as trading together. Look at the VMware move, guys. This is an amazing move. By the way, in terms of a scalping level, I don't know if it'll get there today, but if it gets to this 86 level, that is a huge, huge area. It's still about a $2 move to go, but major resistance on VMware if it gets to 86. Okay? All right, let me see what else we have here. JPM is down on the day. So JPM's down, but only 8 cents. Not much of a drop there. Really just going sideways. And this is actually holding up relatively well considering the market. So it does tell us that we might continue to see some decent action on that into the end of the day. Just based on how well it's holding up. Goldman, on the other hand, is a little on the weaker side, although consolidating here against. This is actually a classic bear flag on Goldman. So watch in the next few days for further downside. Assuming this doesn't break up into the close and holds this sideways pattern, look for further downside on Goldman Sachs into the end of the day. Okay? Or I should say in the next couple days, not necessarily today. One other stock I want to mention, Chevron. Chevron taking a nice hit today. Another bear flag forming, but the stock is down $1. We have oil trading today, down 69 cents. That's a great fall on the USO today. An absolutely great fall on the USO across the board. All right, and last one I want to mention here is Boeing. Boeing is another key play that, in my opinion, has put in a long-term top, in the very least a short-term top, but possibly a long-term top. They reported earnings today, very good earnings, but bottom line is the stock gapped up and gave it all back. All back. Anytime a stock gaps up on earnings to new all-time highs like it did today and reverses on heavy volume, wide range bar, heavy volume reversal, this is usually a signal of a top in place. So that's my expectation, guys. I do believe that you are seeing that in motion here. Okay, let's go back to the SPY. Let's take a look. The SPY is starting to see a little bit of selling down here, a little bit of downside action coming in. And again, we'll keep track of things into the close. Looks like a lot of fun action into the close today, guys. Should be a very, very fun afternoon and evening period. Spiders, again, moving down. We'll see if we make new lows today. But again, assuming we end down in these areas, I do believe we have a short-term top in the market ahead of the Federal Reserve meeting next week. Obviously, on the meeting, who knows what Bernanke says. But I think there could be a little bit of nervousness that he might actually take some of the QE away. Instead of $85 billion in printed money, maybe $65 and so forth. And I think people will wonder if that's going to be a hardship for the markets to deal with going forward. All right, guys, have a great afternoon, great evening. Come join us here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. Lots of trading. Today was probably one of the most amazing morning trading sessions in terms of action that I've seen in at least a month or two. And again, it makes it fun for us with lots of profits to be had. Take care, guys.